What does your job ask you to hide from the customers? As a tattoo artist, oftentimes apprentices at the end of their apprenticeship will start to tattoo paying customers, and for a few tattoo shops, the apprenticeships are much shorter than they need to be. So if you're getting tattooed but someone who seems to be young or they seem inexperienced, they probably are, and they're probably still in their apprenticeship. But the shop will tell you they're actual artists. Do your research when thinking about getting a tattoo, and don't be afraid to wait months, or even years, for the right artist for you. It'll save you from really shitty tattoo. We have to hide when we get some water. Can have the customers knowing we too need water. Yeah, if they see you drinking water, they might suspect that you're human and not some robot. I used to work at a store, and the manager actually told us that having a water bottle on the sales floor was a distraction. In retaliation, a majority of coworkers got doctor's notes stating that they, in fact, need water. The manager legally had to allow them to have water. Also, at the hotel I worked at, if a guest found a stray bed bug, all staff were instructed to either confirm nor deny that it was an actual bed bug. Word games were not fun. I experienced that firsthand. Went to a convention that was infested with cockroaches. Collected a few in a cup, and went to the front desk to complain. They reassured me that what I saw was just harmless water bugs, and that there were no roaches anywhere in the hotel. None. Zero. Nada. Had to ask them if they'd be fine with me releasing these harmless bugs in the lobby, and the moment I said that, they froze, and realized there was nothing they could say or do. Everything. Where do I even start? Really, the only thing I'm allowed to tell the customers is this spiel about the place and where the restroom is. I really wish I could help people more than I can, but management actually trained me to actively hide things from people. Literally, I'm supposed to make the customers' lives harder. If I don't do it to management's approval, they go and hide even more things. Then again, I work in an escape room. My last job was a white-labeled help desk. You had to hide the fact that your company existed at all from the customer. You had to pretend you were from whatever company the customer was using for their IT. Not now, but back when I worked as an aide at a nursing home, we were forbidden from telling patients we were short-staffed. We were, and it was the fault of administration because they were trying to save money, but literally the residents would be yelling at us because their shower was late or whatever, and we were supposed to just act like it was because we were lazy. Weren't allowed to tell them it was because I had the entire wing by myself. The administrator was sick of having angry family members calling to complain and decided we should take the brunt of it instead. Have some of the same issues at my job. As a CNA, I'm able to explain to them that we're doing our best and that I'm sorry for the delay. But on days when we're understaffed by more than 2 people, I tell them. There's no other way to get them to understand. But at my job, it's got the opposite effect. It makes the admin keep us properly staffed for the most part. Best of luck. Being an aide is like no other job out there. Cell phone store. Customers return perfectly good phones all the time. We were told to sell the boxes as brand new, first-time activations, and purposefully leave out the fact that they had, in fact, already been activated and taken home within 48 hours. I'd be pissed if I bought a phone full price and it was even slightly used. I let those phones get dusty and would never sell them just to spite that shitty-ass policy. I used to work at one too, and we also did that as well. I think the one thing that annoyed me the most was the push to sell the accessories just 'cause it was on a daily basis. I understand the need to sell accessories, but what I didn't understand was the need to sell accessories that do not fit the phones. Like, is it that hard to find accessories that actually fit the phones to their exact model? For example, if you wanted a screen protector, it was either gonna fall short around the edges or be too big where we had to cut it so it would fit. It was worse for tempered glass 'cause it was more expensive. I loathed every time I had to sell one. If I didn't, I would get in trouble and get scolded for not hustling enough. I worked at a small town store, so I knew a good chunk of people and felt terrible selling them. I only sold them whenever managers were present, otherwise I'd just tell customers to order off of Amazon. Screw that place. Our sales prices are just normal prices. Had to stock some pressure washers a few months back. They're $199 each when scanned. The next day I have to put up more, scan them, and they show up as $279 each. Couple weeks later, they're on sale for $199 each. There's a guy locally who owns a furniture store, and every one of his commercials ends with, "Come to so-and-so furniture, where we don't mark it up just to mark it down and call it a sale." I didn't know that was a practice until his commercials started airing. We sell software, and we have a page that has instructions for setting it up Linux servers. But that's basically all we know about the OS, and as much as any of us actually care to learn it. If asked, the going policy is that our Linux specialist is out this week, but we'll totally refresh what we know by going over the page with you. MD in Pathology. We are the ones who give the bottom line diagnosis and staging for most cancers and many other diseases. In a weird way, the patient isn't our customer, their doctor is. We are telling them what the diagnosis is and what evidence we have to support it. Anything we say can trigger them to do a whole new treatment plan or a bunch more tests, so we have to be careful not to mention random things that we see unless we want them acting in it. For example, we might think these megakaryocytes are a little small and I see a few of them bunched together here, but it's only in a couple spots. If we bring it up, it might seem more significant than that, and trigger a distracting question about one disease process when we know that's not the actual problem. A big part of the training is learning how to communicate the truth without clouding it with the truth. Unfortunately, this often means that the reports are almost unintelligible to the patients because they are not the intended audience of the report, really. I've worked at 2 fast food restaurants in my life. At each one, the only time that food safety protocol was followed or enforced was the day that the health inspector was coming to grade us. It's amazing how common this is. I work in a deli and bakery currently. All of our food is from frozen, and they want me to call in fresh, baked in store every day. Dude, it was frozen for 3 months, thawed for an hour, and then cooked. It's no better than anything else you get from the freezer section, and in many cases the freezer section is higher quality stuff. Let's just say our technology doesn't come close to meeting its process guarantees, but we can give a customer a phone book-sized excuse of why it's their fault. You'd be amazed at how good construction workers become at hiding flaws. It's quite nearly a part of the job description and a large reason why so much of construction effort is put towards cosmetics. Beyond the fact that most people just don't want to be looking at a bunch of rough-in work that's functionally the same but aesthetically atrocious. I concur. I was a finisher for some years. Painting, staining, so in other words making your brand new piece of shit house that you paid way too much for look nice. Amazing how many homeowners get duped, or just plainly have idea what they are doing or agreeing to. Any and every unique location to commit a crime, you will get away with. That first time. We don't get the funds to have real cameras over the entire mall, so we move them to blind spots where we suspect based on following other footage the crime was committed. Then we wait for your stupid ass to go, "Wow, that was easy and nothing happened," and go for round 2. I've talked with peers in Target, Walmart, all over the place, and this is a constant. While there are certain high-risk zones that always have functional cameras aimed at them, if you wander off to an odd corner, odds that you'll get away with the time number 1 are really good, provided you dodge the employees at the time too. Oh, and along the same vein, park your stupid fucking car at a different parking lot than you're robbing. This is how we get you. Your license plate. You don't even need a mask or a hoodie, odds are we will never figure out who you are if you just straight up walk out with shit and off the property. That's why you should use stolen cars for crimes. Do you have a similar story? Leave a comment and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more videos like this one.